Hi everyone, Darla from stampingunderdoctorsorders.blogspot.com, and here's our card for inside the Crafter Studio today, and it's a little easel card. So when it folds, it's just like that. Okay. And all it is using a bunch of basic shapes in the craft room and welding them together, which we're going to do right now. So, I've opened my craft room, and now I'm just going to start adding the shapes. So, first I want an oval for the body, and I think I will size that at 2.5. Then I want to rotate that, because of course he's tall, not wide. There we go. And I'm going to zoom out a bit so you can see it. Now I'm going to add the head. And for now I'm going to put on new layers, because you're going to want them on separate layers as well as welded together so that you can layer them. Okay? Now, his head was only half of one of these, so you're going to have to try and picture it that way. If you really have trouble, you can always just cover it up like this. So, and make that white. There, now it's easy, a little easier to picture. There we go. And let's put some wings. Put those in at maybe 1 inch. Try that. We need 2 wings. And I'm going to put that one on the same layer. We'll make that one 1 inch too. And then for these, I'm just going to tilt them by rotating using this button. And bring them in. There we go. Then we need some feet. I'm going to use, let's try this shape here. And let's make that, let's 1.5, I guess. And we'll just stick that in behind here. If you're wondering what exactly I'm doing to do all of these things, you should watch the last video I made, because it will show you how to put things on new layers and how to orientate the layers so you get the right thing showing up on top. Okay? I'm going to move these down a little bit, because I have a feeling it'll give us issues trying to weld them to two. Then we need the beak. Let's use this little heart. And we'll put that at 3/4 of an inch. Whoops. Go. And we need some eyes. Make those 0.75. And I'm just going to copy paste that. And then make those white. Changing the colors so we can see it a little better here. Okay, we need some pupils for our eyes. And we'll make those, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of an inch. And you can also use the arrows on your keyboard to move things. When they're really, really small like that, it's really hard to select them. I use my keyboard for those. I thought he was really cute just like this, but I wanted to add some little eyelids to him, so I just used the shape down here. And we'll make that 5 maybe. And we'll copy paste that. Like so. And make that brown. I think I'm going to make this head just a little bit bigger, so let's try 2.5. I think would make it much better. We'll zoom in so we can see him up a little closer there. There, so now that I have him how I like him, and on mine I did add a little heart in his hands, which you can do pretty easily, but we don't need it to show the tutorial. So I need all the pieces separate in order to cut them when I layer them, but I also need them welded to make the card shape. And in order to do that, I need to get all my pieces right where I want them. Then I need to turn off all my inside pieces. You could leave them, but sometimes it just makes it easier to turn them off, so that's what I've done. Just adjusting it a little bit here. Once I've done that, I'm going to delete this rectangle because it's just not part of it, so it's just going to mess me up here. So now that I have that done, I'm going to select everything I see, and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to call it, I'm going to call it card base, and make it brown. And with that highlighted, I'm now going to paste. Once I've done that, I can turn off all the rest of them just so I can work with that. And you'll see by holding your mouse button down, you can see all the shapes. But when I let go, click off of the shape, it's all welded together now. And that's simply by up here having weld checked off. If I click don't weld, it's all going to come up as the shapes again. But if I click weld, then they all join together. So that's what I need. For the next part, I'm just going to turn my fill mode off, and I'm going to group this together just so that when I select it now, I'll show you what grouping does. Now when I select it, I don't have to marquee select it, it automatically selects the whole thing. I just click on it instead of having to marquee select, okay? So I'm going to zoom back out. I'm going to bring this here. I'm going to change, just so I know right where, oops, wrong one, right where it is. I'm just going to change my X value to 1. And it automatically to 1.01, but that's okay. Then I'm going to copy and paste again. I'm going to take this image and I'm going to flip it vertically, and I'm just going to move this up here until the two shapes for his head overlap. And you can do that, it's pretty much right on there. Zoom in. There we go. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to ungroup. It just takes a second to think about that. And then I'm going to ungroup this one. The reason I'm ungrouping them now is because I now want to weld all of it together. And this will fix itself here in a second. So once it's ungrouped, it does take a second to think about that. Okay. Now that it's ungrouped, I'm just going to click here and delete one, because I have two. One from the flipped image and one from the bottom, and I don't need two, I only need one. So I've done that. And now I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to select the whole thing, and I'm going to group it again. And actually I did that just a little bit too soon, because what I need to do before I do that is I need to come out, well, it's ungrouped, and I need to select just this bottom piece and have it as another copy. Because I made it as an easel card, I need a layer that's the exact same as the card front to stick on. So I'm just going to select to there, and it will select whatever it's touching. And by doing that, now I have, by copy and pasting, now I've got my other shape. There we go. I can bring this up here. And I'm going to now group all my shapes, and when I cut them, I've got my whole card all set. Turn my fill mode back on. And once I have them all cut, this is what I'm going to have. So I'm going to cut my feet from my yellow and the nose from the yellow. And see, I did cut a little heart, but you don't have to. I just did it because I did this for a Valentine's card. This was my base layer that I just made right here. Okay? And when I stick that on, I won't bother to cut the head piece separately again. What I'll do is I'll stick that on and then I'll fold the top label shape on top. So I'll stick it on, stick all my other pieces on, and then fold the top part of the head that was here. I just fold that down over and that will create that shape here. Okay? It's just easier. You don't have to cut another head piece and cut it in half. That way you're done just by cutting this piece here and sticking it on and folding it over. And that's your tutorial for today. I hope that helps. Have a lovely day.